Good afternoon, happy Tuesday, and welcome to Coffee and a Card. So, let's see. There we go. All right, try that again. Good afternoon. Welcome to Coffee and a Card. So, I am Holly with Handcrafted Blessings, and I am a few minutes early. Well, there you go. That's, if you're wondering how my day is going, there you go. I'm apparently early for stuff today. So, that's okay. We're going to go ahead and jump right in. So today, Coffee and a Card meets Card Club Live. So we're doing our, both videos in one today. So I am going to show you 4 projects using the Beary Cute Bundle, and this is part of Card Club, and so we'll talk about what that means. And you're seeing this live because I do the Facebook Live for everybody. Normally I do it over in my community group. It is streaming over there right now as well, but I thought I would do it today right here. So, welcome to everybody who's coming in. It's great to see you. And we'll go ahead and get started. So I'm just going to put my camera down. And of course, I've got all things Christmas on today. Between my my earrings and my scrunchie and my shirt, I am just excited about the holidays. So, okay. So the Beary Cute Bundle, that's this one right here. So we've got the Beary Cute set with the polar bears and the trees, and it comes with a coordinating punch that you can punch out those bears. Now what's fun about this set is it does not have to be Christmas, because polar bears and trees don't have to be Christmas. So it can also make some fun winter birthday cards, as well as the paper that goes with it would also make some great non-Christmas cards. So don't get caught up in the name of the paper like Merry Christmas right here, because it could totally be for other occasions as well. So let me talk for a minute about how Card Club works. Card Club is a monthly kit that comes to your door with supplies for 8 cards, and it always has lots of extra product. So you're going to have plenty of leftovers to make more cards. So let me tell you about what comes in the November kit. So I am using the Beary Cute, Beary Christmas, Beary something cards and envelopes. So these are red card bases already scored and ready for you to use. And then there's also blue right here with the coordinating envelopes. So you're going to get 10 cards and envelopes in your kit. You're going to get half a pack of the Beary Christmas Designer Series paper. So let me show you what that looks like. So here we've got all sorts of different papers. So you see you've got the bears, and the ones that match the punch can be punched out as well. And then on the back side, you've got a variety of designs. Again, these would be great just winter cards. They don't necessarily have to be Christmas, which is super fun. So you get a half a pack of that paper. You also get a half a pack of these glitter sequins, which we'll use in the cards. And you're going to get a roll of the sheer, you're going to get some of this sheer ribbon, the silver ribbon. So I'll show you how we're using that today. Plus all of the cardstock pieces that you're going to need to make the 4 cards I'm about to show you. So that is what Card Club includes. So you can imagine by having half a pack of paper and, you know, half a pack of this and your ribbon, you'll have plenty of extra to make additional cards beyond the 8 that we're making. So I did say that I include 10 of the cards and envelopes, so these are the 2 extras that we won't be using today. But I'm going to set this over here. We'll keep the ribbon and sequins close by because we're going to need to use those today. And we will start with this card. Now these cards and envelopes are larger than our typical size cards. So, actually I shouldn't start with this because, let me start with the other one. Let's start with the other blue one. Because this card needs a piece from the first card we're going to do. So I'm just going to set that aside. But what I was trying to say was these cards and envelopes are larger than your typical size. So they're 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. So we're going to have pieces that are larger than your typical sizes. So we'll be pairing a lot of this with the snowflake embossing folder. So in your kit, you'll have a whole lot of pieces that are embossed, because I think we use embossed pieces on most of this. I think 3 of the 4 designs use this embossing folder. So let's do this fun fold right here. Now, I do sometimes need to talk to my card club people as we're going, so bear with me there. But for the rest of you, you can just enjoy watching and get some inspiration on using your card making supplies. So, and if you decide you want the kit, just holler, and I will get one in the mail to you. Alright, so we are going to take our card base, and we're going to start by cutting off 2 1/8 inches from the card front. So, 2 1/8. Let's see here. So basically half of the card front we're cutting off to make our fun fold. So then, this is the piece that I need on that card that I was about to try to start with, but I didn't have this piece. So we're going to set this aside. We're going to use it on the next card. So now we've got our front. Okay. So I am going to adhere to the inside of my card. I'm going to start with the oh my goodness, the words are not coming today. I'm going to start with our snowflake embossed here, and we're just going to put that on the inside of the card. I send you all the embossed pieces and die cuts that you need for your kit, so they're all in there for you. Okay, so we'll stick this in here. This piece just barely fit in the embossing folder. I mean, it was top and bottom of the embossing folder in order to get that piece to fit in there. Okay, and then we're going to take our Night of Navy matte, and we're going to adhere that to the inside of the card. And we'll just center that right here. There we go. Okay, so I am going to do a couple of stamped pieces. So I'm going to take for my insert and then also for my tag. And we're going to grab 2 different stamps here. We're going to use Merry Christmas. And we're also going to use Christmas is Better Together. And I'll go ahead and just pull out a couple of these other ones that I know we're going to need on some future cards. I don't know if that's all of them, but we'll start with that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and block these that we need. And just to make sure those other stamps here don't get stuck on anything, we've got our cute little baby bear and a scarf. And then I've got warm wishes and another outline bear that coordinates with the punch. So we'll go ahead and block those as well. There we go. I usually block all my stamps before the live. I just didn't get that done today. Tried to do too many things at one time today. Can you guys resonate with that? Sometimes your to-do list is more like a wish list, right? Of things you're wishing you could get done, but you may or may not have time. Okay, we're going to use Night of Navy. And we're going to do Christmas is Better Together. There we go. Nice rich inking here. And then on this one, we're going to be using this Merry Christmas. As you can see, we have a bit of a problem Okay, so we're going to be masking for this card. What that means is I am going to cover the part that I don't want to stamp. So in this case, I'm going to start by covering Mary with a Post-it note. So there we go. Now I'm going to ink up Christmas. I'm going to take that Post-it note off. And I'll just stamp Christmas here on my die cut. And then I'm going to ink up Mary. And I'm going to cover Christmas. There we go. And we'll stamp that here on my tag. There we go. And this is a way that you can use any length stamps on the pieces that you want. You just have to do a little bit of coverage to them. Okay, I'm going to set those here for a minute. We'll bring back our card front and we'll take a piece of Night of Navy, which I have also embossed for you with that snowflake embossing folder. Adds a fun texture to your card. So we'll add that here. There we go. And then we are going to put our Christmas is Better Together piece on the inside. And just center that here. Okay. So now I want to put this on the front, but I want it in a very specific spot. I do not want any of this white showing. I want it to look like I have mounted this designer series paper on the Night of Navy. So I'm going to want to line it up just right with the basic white. So here's how we're going to do that. We're going to start by just putting some tape right here. And then I'm also going to put one line of tape on the edge of my designer series paper right there. And we're going to start with the taped, the taped side is under my fingers right here. You see that? It's stuck, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up over here so that I am covering that white insert. And then holding it down with my left hand, I can then press down excuse me, I can press down the right side, and now you can see my card will line up just perfectly with the inside and cover that basic white. All right, we'll take some dimensionals here. We'll dimensionalize our die cut and just add a few finishing touches to the front of our card. So I'm just kind of being mindful of where stuff is on this card. I'm actually going to go a little bit higher, I think, this time. There we go. And then I'll take that silver sheer ribbon and we're just going to tie a small bow. Oh, don't lose that loop. There we go. Okay. So we'll just tie a little bow here, fix that, and I'll trim my ends a little. I always trim at an angle. There we go. Okay. So we'll take a couple of glue dots here and we will get this attached to the front of our card. So you just stick your ribbon right down on those glue dots, press down, and when you pick it up, the glue dot will come with it. I'm going to put this ribbon in a slightly different spot than I did on the sample card. Oh, I'm going to move it over just a little bit. Let me pick that back up. We're just going to put it there in the middle above this tag. So you can kind of move the ribbon based on the printing on your designer series paper. So let me bring back the sample to show you. With this one, I better take a drink or I'm going to keep coughing. Okay. So with my sample card, I have my tag a little bit lower because I didn't want to cover the top of this tree that had the star on it. And it's got multiple bears just because of how the paper was cut. This one was a little bit easier because I just have the one polar bear in the middle, and I would want to make sure I don't cover up this tree. So I just went a little bit higher. So this is the first of 4 designs from the, oh goodness gracious, from the November Card Club kit. So this is design 1 of 4. So let's look at the next one. Okay. So we'll come back to that card I already showed you. And this is that front half of the panel that we cut off from the first card. So that's where it's going to go here, is in my second card. So we're going to be using these pieces here. All right, so we will start with all of the stuff in the envelopes. Let me see here. So we'll go ahead and just start by taping that front here on the inside of our card. So I'm going to bring it down here to the bottom, and I am just going to line it up. Now, if you didn't want it to be quite this wide on the inside of your card, you could obviously cut it down. Then you could use this on 2 cards. But I think it would be fun to write your message right here and then sign your name on the blue part. So just kind of a different way of doing your inside. Okay, so for the front of our card, we're going to start with a piece of Night of Navy. And I actually need the snowflake here. Both snowflakes. Let's take both of those. And what I'm going to do, when you don't have a lot of blocks, I'll put one on this side, then I'm going to flip it over and put the second one right here. Whoops. Put the second one right here. So they're on opposite sides of the block. So one's on this side, I turn it over, and it's on this side. But they're also separate this way, left and right, so that I can see through to still stamp the one on the other side. And I'll do the same thing here with this one since we haven't used it. We'll just move that, because I need to use those snowflakes for this card. So we'll take our Night of Navy ink again. And I'm just gonna, oh dear, good thing cardstock has 2 sides, because I only got part of a snowflake. So let me try not talking when I stamp. No, stamping and talking, you guys, it's not for the faint of heart. Okay, try this again. We're gonna turn this over. Cardstock has 2 sides. Okay, so I'm gonna stamp that here, and we'll put another one right there. Then we'll bring our large snowflake in. Put that in the corner. And I'll put another one up in this corner. I'm just doing opposite corners, but feel free to add as few or as many snowflakes as you would like to have. While I have the ink open, let's go ahead and just stamp a few more things. You have a piece of basic white paper that we're going to stamp Merry Christmas towards the bottom. Centered left and right, but towards the bottom of the piece of paper, okay? And then, last but not least, we're going to stamp our polar bear. So we'll outline him in Night of Navy. This is a piece of very vanilla. So I'm going to stamp my polar bear here. And then I'm also going to use Real Red ink. Let's close this one. I'm going to use some Real Red to add a scarf to my polar bear. So we'll get that. And the great thing about photopolymer stamps is you can see right through them. So I can see through to add my red scarf in just the right spot. Whoops. So that it looks like the scarf is around the polar bear's neck. Now, the reason I just said whoops is because I forgot that I had this snowflake on the other side and I set my block down. So I've got a little bit of ink on my desk, but no big deal. But that's why I set my blocks up this way. When I have stamps on each side, it helps keep that ink off of my desk. All right, so let's take our card front. And we'll go ahead and, let's see, what order should we do this in? Let's take the blue, the Night of Navy, and we'll add our real red piece. So we'll just stick that here in the center. It goes all the way top and bottom. And then our designer series paper that we're using here is going to be just taller. So I think I should do this. Let's do this first. Let's go ahead and add these layers to the front of our card. I'll find that score line. There it is. I think I'm going to have to fold this card. It's a little hard to see the score line. I'm also seeing I have a little bit of that envelopes or that flap sticking out right here. So I'm just going to take my snips and trim that real quick. There we go. Much better. So now I can go ahead and we'll just smooth this down. And we'll take that piece of designer series paper. I don't know why I have such a tickle in my throat today. It's the weirdest thing. Okay. So this piece of designer series paper is going to go top to bottom of our card. So sometimes it's fun to mix up your sizing. So my Night of Navy and my real red are the same height, but my designer series paper now is 1/4 of an inch larger. So it's the full 4 1/4 inches on the card base here. And then we'll take our Merry Christmas and we need to create a snow pile for our polar bear to stand on. So to do that, we're just going to randomly tear across the top of our paper. You can kind of create some different size snow hills here. And then we'll dimensionalize that so that our polar bear has something to kind of walk across. We'll add that. Add this element to towards the bottom. Just gonna leave those little snowflakes sticking out here. There we go. Okay, so now we can grab our polar bear and our punch, and we can stick this in our punch and we'll line it up. Use my finger here to get it centered where it needs to be. There we go. And then I can punch that out. And we'll also dimensionalize this guy too. So we'll add 3 up here. I don't need dimensionals down by his feet because he's going to overlap our white snowscape. And so I don't have to put an extra layer there. And so we'll just add our polar bear here. And there we go. We've got our second design. And again, using the half of the the card base that we cut off on the first card, we just included it here on the inside of our card. Okay, so there's our second design. So if you're just joining us, we are working our way through 4 designs from the November Card Club kit. So the kits go out to subscribers who get the kits. I do have extra, so feel free to let me know if you want the supplies for all the cards you're seeing. And tutorials are sent by email. So with all the measurements, supplies, and step-by-step directions on how to make these cards. All right, so here is our third card. And this time we're going to have the Balmy Blue is embossed with that snowflake embossing folder. Okay. So grab all the pieces out here. And you can decide if you want the white to be on the bottom, or if we flip it around, you can now have the white here up at the top. So I'm actually going to do the opposite of what I did in the sample. So my sample had the white down here at the bottom. So I'm just going to turn it around and we're going to do it the opposite way, just to show you that it really doesn't matter which direction you decide to put it. I love it when Stampin' Up! Offers cards and envelopes like this because they're already cut and scored for me. So it makes it so easy to just jump right into the crafting portion. So we'll add our basic white layer and then we will put on our Balmy Blue snowflake embossed piece. So we'll stick that on here. And then we're going to layer a few pieces together here. So we have a strip of real red, a strip of the Beary Christmas Designer Series paper, and then also the presents that we're going to be putting on here. So that's the back of this one. So we'll start with our real red. And the fun part about this is if you guys are making these cards with supplies that you already have, you can just mix and match with your Designer Series paper. So find 2 pieces of Designer Series paper that work well together, and then pick a coordinating cardstock that you can layer over them. Layer under them. The cardstock is under the Designer Series paper. All right, so I'm just gonna go about halfway over the real red. And then we're going to dimensionalize the presents. Now, since Designer Series paper is not very thick, I would normally, at this point, I would put 1 on each corner and then I would do 1 in the middle. But because Designer Series paper is not as thick as our cardstock, it's going to have a tendency to kind of bow in the middle if I don't adjust my dimensionals. So instead, I'm going to just put 2 on the sides here, and that'll help keep my Designer Series paper from bowing as the card progresses. So then we'll pop that up here on the right. There we go. Oops, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside for a moment. We're going to grab two pieces of basic white. This one has been, it's die cut with Nested Essentials dies. And it's Jeopardy music. We need Jeopardy music. Okay, here we go. So we'll start with some Night of Navy. With Card Club, I try to not pick too many inks, and this one works. Night of Navy works so well with all of these designs. Now, again, the fun part of this card would be if you didn't need Christmas cards, you could easily stamp this as Happy Birthday instead of a Christmas pattern or a Christmas words. Sorry. Okay, so I'm going to take Warm Wishes, And we're going to put warm wishes here on our die cut. Okay. And then you see I've got the real red again because I'm going to add a scarf to this guy. I just love the addition of the scarf. Now there's also, let me stamp this and then I'm going to show you. There's also, you can add a little hat as well, which is super cute. So definitely some fun options. You could stamp that hat on a piece of scrap paper and then fussy cut it out to add it as well. All right, we'll take our white die cut and we're gonna just stick that on a real red die cut from the same set of dies. Just one step up in the size of the dies. And then we're going to take this whole thing and the end result is that it's going to sit here. Now, you know, I try to keep my cards so that they only require one stamp when one postage stamp when I'm mailing them. So I try not to very often do multiple layers of dimensionals. Every so often I will, but I try not to just because I don't want to risk increasing the cost of the postage. So when I adhere this side of the die cut, it is already sitting on a dimensional piece of paper. So I don't need to add dimensionals to this side, okay? So I'm gonna flip it over, excuse me, exactly where it sits. And I'm gonna add the 2 dimensionals to the other corners. And then we'll just do a little bit of adhesive here. So before you apply adhesive, you can always kind of lay your pieces on the card to kind of decide whether you need dimensionals or if you might just need adhesive or glue, if that's your choice. So I'll put our polar friend here in the punch. Let's see here. There we go. So I've got it all lined up. And now I will add some dimensionals. And pop this big fella up on our card front. I think we'll stick him right about there. There we go. We've got our 3rd card design. Now I'll bring back the sample because I told you that I did the card base the opposite direction. So this, the one I just made, the dark real red is on the bottom with the white up here. And you'll see here on my sample, I did the opposite. So the dark is up top and the light is down below. But it really does work either way. All right, one last card to round out our collection. And because I'm making 2 red and 2 balmy blue. And so what that'll leave you with in your supplies is that you have 1 additional red card and envelope and 1 additional blue card and envelope that you can finish out however you'd like. So this one, I just had to pull in the baby polar bear. He's so adorable. So I wanted to make sure that we used him as well. Okay. So we're going to start with adhering our snowflake piece to our Night of Navy mat. You can tell from all these cards, after I got done embossing them all for you guys, my snowflake embossing folder is very well used. Lots and lots of paper went through that embossing folder to make your kits. Okay, we're going to take a piece of the Designer Series paper. Now, one thing I forgot to mention earlier, I send your designer series paper 6 by 12. So it's half a pack. I just cut it in half while it's still in the wrapping from Stampin' Up. And I send you the whole half pack. So when you're making these cards, you can actually pick and choose what designs you use. You don't have to use the same exact pattern that I used on my sample. So it kind of allows you to mix and match as you'd like. Okay, I am now going to take my baby bear, and we're going to just stamp him here on the card front. And then we'll take these two and we'll do Merry Christmas on our tag. And then we need one more polar bear. And I'm going to be punching him out to go on the card. So we'll stick him there. And so, of course, I just can't resist, because this card is so red, we're just going to do all of our polar bears with the scarf. There we go. Okay. So we'll bring this back and we'll grab our sheer ribbon. And I'm just going to take a piece of this and wind it around, wrap it around. And we'll put a piece of this sheer ribbon on the back. Oh, that's coming up. On the back of my mats. I'm going to go ahead and stick some tape over it. There we go. All right, so then we'll just add adhesive to the rest of this. So we can stick it on our card front. There we go. Crease that down so it stays folded for us. And we will dimensionalize our die cut. Now I'm going to put my dimensionals kind of alternated. Let's see, like this. I grab a new sheet here. There we go. So you're going to see I'm going to kind of go a little bit up and a little bit down with the dimensionals. Whenever I'm putting on a tag like this over a ribbon, I always try to make sure that I have some of the cardstock attached, or some of the dimensional attached to cardstock. If I put my dimensionals here straight in a row across the middle, they're only going to adhere to the ribbon, and it's going to end up being a little floppy on the front of my card. So by adjusting where I put the dimensionals, it means I am going to be able to adhere to some of the cardstock so that we get a nice secure hold. There we go. All right, we'll take our last polar bear here. Now, if you've got this kit, you're actually making 8 cards, 2 of each. So, but I'm just showing you one. And then you can go back and replicate for the second card. Or don't replicate. Mix it up. Use some of the different designs that are in the designer series paper and change the look of your cards. Okay, so we'll just add our mama bear. So we have a mama bear and baby bear. Merry Christmas. Okay, in case you came in late, let me just show you all 4 cards. I do have some extras of these kits, so you're welcome to shoot me a message and I will send you an invoice and get you a kit in the mail. They're already prepped and ready, so just trying to move these stamps out of the way. There we go. These are the 4 cards for the November card club. So thanks so much for tuning in today as we kind of joined our regular Tuesday video along with the card club video. So thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to encourage one another and build each other up. Have a great Thanksgiving.